Hey everyone, so today I'm here to talk about a very amazing book. It's called What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's a billionaire. She has her own network. She really got her fame from her talk show. And it's very interesting because this book came out just a few months ago and I had to pick it up and read it. Oprah Winfrey is someone who went through. Uh, a lot of people don't know this. She went through a lot of struggles in life, and the more I read about successful people, and it's not always the case, but especially when they've achieved exceptional success, a lot of the time they have gone through a lot of practice and skill and obstacles in their life. And a lot of people fail to realize this and they think that, oh my goodness, they lucked out. And that's not always the case. This book is quite interesting. I mean, this is a female who's not only a billionaire and made a lot of money, but she has her own TV network now. She has interviewed and talked to numerous successful people and celebrities. She has an amazingly fun job, in my opinion, a talk show host. Think about it. And on top of that, like, she's just a boss as a person. Like, she's amazing as a person. She lives a very what's the word? A good life. She treats everyone nice. She has good morals and values and a good mentality on life. And that is up there for things I respect. Not just how much money you have. Anyhow, this book's actually quite thin, honestly. And the pages are really small, and if you look at it, the margins are pretty big. So it's a very quick read. I'm not gonna lie, I bought the audiobook version, and I just went through that, and it was very, very quick. And this is a book that's basically talking about life lessons. It's almost perfect in that if I were to have asked Oprah to write a book, this is probably what I would have asked her to write it on. Life lessons, lessons on accumulating wealth, lessons on getting to where you want to, finding your passion in life, being happy in life, what things really matter in life for happiness, for your well-being, for relationships, from making money, for all these things. And she really just embodies all this in this book. But it's not perfect, I'm not gonna lie. Some parts were just, I mean, they were good, but like it or not, the book was very short. It went through a lot of things, but generally it was, because of the length of the book, just too short, and it didn't really go into detail, and it didn't address like specific things. And it really focused much more on just life lessons, not really making money or any of that. So I'm going to go through a lot of the things in this book, but I can't summarize all of them. So maybe I'll do another video if this one takes off and I get enough likes on this one, to talk about other stuff that I found useful in this book. So let's begin with what she did mention on making money and how she achieved that. But before you do, go ahead and leave it a like. If I get enough likes, let's say, I don't know, 50, maybe I'll do another video talking about the other stuff I found in this book useful. But also hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. It'll let you know when my next video is coming out. I'd very much enjoy that. So let's get started. Making money. So oftentimes, like, most of this book is written in a way where it's just life lessons that are not really like completely like, oh, I'm going to teach you how I became a billionaire and what you can use to create wealth itself. It's not the purpose of this book. It's more about life lessons and stuff like that, which is very, very useful. And if you've read enough like material from successful rich people, you can pull out similarities in this. So let's just get started with what she says about making money. She mentions that making money was never really intention or main purpose in life, and she followed what she wanted to do, and she also took risks, following her passion. There's this one moment where she had a decent job, but she got another job offering that was amazing, and it was in another city, and she was going to move. She was going to quit her job, and it was something she was very passionate about and better, and it was something that really made her have her own talk show. If she had not gone and moved there, she wouldn't have possibly had the Oprah show and her own network now and become a billionaire. But her boss was spitting out everything he could to get her to stay. Like, you're not going to make it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. You're not good enough. All this stuff. And again, I do want to add a disclaimer that this isn't. A lot of things are nuanced topics. So this does not mean just like, okay, that means I can take any risk I want. Oftentimes, the smartest people take risks that have little downside but high potential upside. And for her, I don't know the details because she didn't really mention them. But I feel like even if she failed and it didn't turn out right, there was high potential upside. So there's a good chance that it could have blown her up, and it did. And if she failed, she probably could have moved back, found a job, probably convinced her boss to hire her, and she probably wouldn't have even wanted to, given the fact that this boss seemed like a bit of a jerk. So that's one thing. And again, there's a lot of implicit lessons in that. Let it marinate in your mind and just figure out those implications yourself, and use them in your own life. Another big thing was though. When she started out, she really just followed what she really enjoyed doing, and it was not for the money. And because, I guess, of her skill for it, she really just got better and better at it. And she said that she started out at this radio station and she loved it, and she wasn't getting paid a lot, and she eventually ended up doing very well, and transitioning on and on. And there's so many examples in this book of things that really just, I guess, pop out as similarities in terms of mindsets and beliefs that she has. That's really just, I'm like, yeah, that's what a lot of successful people I read up on have. And a lot of people who aren't successful or poor or just like lost in this world, they're not really the type of guy or girl who would think like that. So I'll give you another one. Again, I don't want to make this video too long. And again, if I get enough likes, maybe I'll do another one. But she talks about her life and how she's gotten to where she is. And she says, when I look back on my life, I realize that every single thing that happened was useful in terms of teaching me something valuable in life or certain lessons. And that propelled me on. And I wouldn't change anything of it. And she's sort of saying like every sort of failure you come across or rejection pushes you down a path that ultimately becomes better. Now, it seems kind of wishy-washy, and maybe there's a little bit of survivorship bias there, whereas the successful people who survive have this mentality and they tout it and say it's how they did it. But all the thousands of people who had the same mentality and were like, I'm going to shoot for the stars, I'm going to be famous, and fail, you never hear about them because they're not famous and they don't publish books. So there is a bit of survivorship bias there. But I think more so than that, I really want to break it down and see if this is actually of use. And I'm thinking it can be, because think about the dude or the man or the girl who is just like she applies to all these things and she gets rejected. Well, sometimes that rejection is great because that's like a mediocre thing you applied to anyways, and if you got accepted, you could have maybe lived out a mediocre existence. But because of that rejection, a lot of things could happen. You can, for instance, fall into a lot of pain that really motivates you to become an excellent, amazing person. I can find some similarities to that in my own life. Or, you know, that rejection can lead you down a different path. And there's all these examples that come up a lot in dating, where, you know, it's sometimes good to not be, you know, accepted by this mediocre woman, or this girl who's very physically attractive but only cares about like drugs and drinking and partying and will cheat on you the first chance she gets. But, you know, moving on from dating and stuff like that, like, I'll give you just another example. I'll move on. Warren Buffett, you know, he probably may have not even been a billionaire if he did not get rejected from Harvard. You can read his biography for his details, but basically his rejection from Harvard made him go to Columbia Business School, where he met his idol, his role model, and his mentor, who he, you know, he studied, and then afterwards he ended up, you know, working for many years. And his mentor was Benjamin Graham, and Graham taught him all these like philosophies and stuff that really was the foundation for his investment style. Had he gone to Harvard, again, who knows if even if he got accepted, he would have chose Harvard. He may have. He wouldn't have taken Graham's class. He wouldn't have been the only person in the class to get A+. He wouldn't have met all the other people who studied under Graham, who all became amazing investment people, and made a lot of money because his investment style, Graham's investment style, was just like very innovative at the time. But long story short, you know, that's another example. So finally, I just want to get back to this book. As you can tell, there's a lot of stuff in here about life lessons, and I guess I just want to conclude with the fact that you know, this book, it's written in a way that it's not except for small moments here and there. Most of the book you can't tell it's who it's written by, and that she's rich, let alone a millionaire, not even a billionaire. There are certain moments occasionally every now and then that give it away, but she doesn't talk about her talk show specifically in this book, and she avoids other topics that bring it up, or money in general. So I think it's a very interesting book, and if you hit the name, like, honestly, I mean, it's still such a good life lesson book, honestly, and it's very interesting how she wrote it that way. And I just want to conclude with one last thing from the book, which is that why she made the title "What I Know for Sure," and the reason is because she was asked in an interview, "What do you know for sure?" And she was stumped. And this is Oprah Winfrey, a woman who literally everyone idolizes, which I think is kind of, you know, it's too much. Like, everyone just, like, a lot of people just praise her like she's some sort of goddess, and she's great and all, but it's like she's still a person just like you and me. And more so than that, she's like a person who had, you know, despite all her work ethic and luck and all the sexual harassment and sexual abuse that she experienced in her childhood, and all the obstacles she had overcome and all that, she, like it or not, there's a good deal of luck. She was African American and a woman, and if she had been born, you know, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000, 2,000 years earlier, she would have been a slave, or she would have had much less job options, and she probably would have lived a happy life, but she would not become even rich at all, or anyone knows. So I think the lesson for that is just like be very appreciative of those things, and realize that, you know, that cashier you're talking to could in another time period have been a millionaire or a very famous successful person. It's just the time period didn't luck him out. But again, there's more so than that. Like, there's, like, you know, work ethic and practice and all this other stuff. It's not those things you can work on. You know, don't just throw your hands up and leave it to chance. So basically, she thought about it for years, and she finally figured out stuff she didn't know. And I don't want to get into philosophical debate, but apparently, like, if you really think about it, like, she says stuff like love, like, if you give love, then you would get more love in return. That's something she knows for sure. But I mean, I feel like the only there's like this philosopher, and he's thought about this, and he just subtracted everything, and he said, the only thing I can know for sure about this world is mathematics. Everything else could be fake. And so that's a topic for another video, because I can't really agree or disagree. I mean, there's one other thing I think would be, I would know for sure, but again, that's for another video. Anyhow, as always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I guess I'll leave the goal at 50 likes. If you can share this video and get 50 likes, and people are interested enough, I will do another video on this book and all the amazing stuff I learned from this book, and the golden nuggets that I found in this book. It's an amazing thing. It only costs $24-ish. And if you get it used, it's even cheaper. If I remember, I will leave a link in the description to go buy the book. And I will see you later. Thank you so much for watching this until the end. This is Will, and thanks.